Coming to you from the Twin Cities in Minnesota, this is GovLove, a podcast about local government. I'm Lauren Palmer with EverStrive Solutions and your host for this episode. GovLove is produced by ELGL, the Engaging Local Government Leaders Network. Rev your engines because registration is officially open for Gov Grand Prix, ELGL's 2026 conference in Indianapolis, September 17 to 19. Inspired by the golden age of vintage racing, this one is built for the brightest minds in local government. Head to elgl.org to register today. And if you're already planning to be in Indy for the conference or in the LBC for ICMA this October, check out the ELGL Analyst Academy. Tack on an extra day to your conference to sharpen your analytical skills and swap ideas with fellow analysts. It's ELGL, so it's a guaranteed good time. Look for more on the website. And one more thing, City Hall Selfie Day is coming up right around the corner on August 12th. Grab your selfie stick and a few friends and show some love for your favorite public buildings and all the good work that's happening inside them. Now on with our episode. Today my guest is Tim Reavis. Tim is the Senior Multimodal Transportation Planner at the Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission. The Regional Planning Commission serves 39 units of local government in Northwest Arkansas, but their offices are located in Springdale in Washington County, Arkansas, which will become relevant as we get into our conversation. We're visiting with Tim today about his career in multimodal planning and a fun side project he's been working on this year to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. Tim, welcome to GovLove.
Thanks, Lauren. I am excited to be here on GovLove talking about an exciting project that I've been working on.
Okay, we can't wait to hear more about it. But first, we're going to start with our signature lightning round to get to know you a little bit better. My first question is, what is something you're reading, watching, or listening to that you recommend to our GovLove audiences?
I am right now neck deep in an English translation of Victor Hugo's Les Mis. I saw Les Mis, the play, at the Raleigh Memorial Auditorium about 10 years ago and loved it. The Jean Valjean story of transformation from hardened convict to compassionate, selfless man. That's a story that really resonates with me and I think can move just about anybody. I saw the the movie starring Hugh Jackman and Anne Hathaway a little bit after that. It was great. Saw the play again and thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to read the book. It is a beast of a book, 1,200 pages. Hugo is not afraid to pause the story and digress. So I would caution anybody that wants to read it. You're going to be hearing a lot about French politics, philosophy, history, but his writing really does paint a rich history of that time.
Okay. You speak about it with such passion. It's great.
Yes. Everything that happens in that story is, it just really resonates with me. And so I'm reading the book and excited about it.
Do you want to say more about that? Like, what is it that particularly resonates with you? Open up a little window into Tim for us.
I think seeing Jean Valjean, him being changed so much by just an act of mercy from the priest, and changes the course of his life. There is something to that where, man, maybe we can show that same act to people and we don't know how it's going to influence them. So that one act that happens to Jean, he goes on and serves so many other people in an amazing way. That's just a story that resonates with me.
Okay, very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. My next question for you, what have you been up to this summer? Any fun trips or activities you want to share with our audience?
So I live in Fayetteville, Arkansas. University of Arkansas is here. During the summer, the students all leave town, they go home, and the city opens up. And so I like to be a tourist in my own city in the summer whenever all the hot spots are open and free and available. So I've been enjoying some time around town without a lot of extra people, the students around. It's been fun. I also have got two kids. They're on summer break, so we're doing there's camps, there's summer activities, making the rounds around town between swimming, hiking, visiting family.
Nice. So you're keeping it mostly local though. You're enjoying being a townie.
We're enjoying being a townie. No big trips planned right now this summer. We're hanging around, and my wife's parents live along the White River in a nearby town called Cotter, Arkansas. So we get over there and we'll get out there and kayak, get out on the lake, and enjoy the heat if you can a
Mhm.
little. Um,
It sounds lovely.
oh, lovely! Yes, try to stay cool as best we can, getting in the water.
Yeah. Okay, and then my last lightning round question for you is a Govlove oldie but a goodie. What is your most controversial non-political opinion?
Lauren, working from home is worse than working in the office.
Okay. This
Yeah.
is I have not heard this expressed on Govlove. Tell me more.
Okay. So I don't want to feel like I'm at work when I'm at home.
Hmm.
I like to have that separation between where I'm doing the business and where I'm resting and with my family. So I always try to be present where my feet are. And if I'm at home and I've got to work, I'm going to be distracted. Or if I'm trying to do my job and there's a situation over here with the family or the house that needs my attention is going to get scattered, and I'm going to be trying to do two things poorly. So by having each thing have their own place, I'm able to be 100% present in both obligations in both places.
Okay, so you are fully in office. What about during COVID? Did you work remotely then?
So during COVID, I worked for the city of North Little Rock, and we remained in office. So we took some precautions, but people still came into the office.
Got it. All right. Well, let's get into the heart of our interview. You hinted at your time in North Little Rock, and I want that leads us into my first interview question, which is tell us about your career path. Give us a quick summary of how your career started and what path you have been on that led you to your current position with the Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission.
Yeah. I attended the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill for graduate school, public administration. Great experience, loved it. There, the School of Government and the School of Public Health work together to offer a community preparedness and disaster management curriculum that I enrolled in. And during my second year in the program, I had a really productive internship with the North Carolina Emergency Management Division. And then right after graduation, I went to work for them full time as a Homeland Security grant program manager. So think grant reporting, monitoring visits, scoring grant application projects. And that was a program that was nationwide. Every state had this opportunity available to them to receive funding from Department of Homeland Security. I was at a conference, and I'm from Arkansas. Was at a conference, and the other states were there. I met my counterparts who were running this program in Arkansas, and at the time, me and my wife, we were ready to have kids. All our families were back in Arkansas, and it's really hard to find a job when you're in a different state.
Mm-hmm.
And so, networking becomes a challenge in that situation. So, ready to move back to Arkansas, and I took this opportunity at this Homeland Security conference to network with the Arkansas people. And boy, it was really the definition of networking, because I met them and they were like, "Hey, come work for us back in Arkansas." And so I took that opportunity, and we moved from North Carolina back to Arkansas, where we were both from, into to Little Rock. Started doing the same job with Arkansas Emergency Management as I was for North Carolina. I tell you though, the state of Arkansas, it's a shame, did not pay enough for me to be comfortable supporting a full family um, with that job and that pay. So I made a shift over to the city of North Little Rock in their planning department. Now, Arkansas does not have a planning program in the state. None of the schools there offer that as a degree. So a lot of the planners in Arkansas are trained on the job, or sometimes you can get somebody to move from out of state to do it. But there's a lot of folks like me that were public administration or geography or GIS that are sort of an adjacent skill that then learned planning on the job.
Mm-hmm.
So that was me. I worked for the city of North Little Rock for 7 years, city planner, assistant planning director. The city of North Little Rock, it's got challenges. The name of the city is in reference to another city. So North Little Rock is north of the Arkansas River, with Little Rock abutting it. It's a minority majority population. It has economic challenges. I had been working in that environment for a while and was ready for a new challenge, a new chapter. Um, my wife is from Northwest Arkansas, from Fayetteville. At that time, at the end of the 7 years, we had 2 kids, and the schools in Little Rock, the school district, had been taken over by the state, and we had to make the move and giving them a different educational outlook. So between the three things of my wife being from Fayetteville, I wanted a new professional challenge, and the schools, we moved to Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas, uh, high growth area, lots of opportunity, a lot of different challenges. So I got a job with the Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission, which does transportation planning for Northwest Arkansas. And where now I am a multimodal planner.
It's wonderful. We're going to talk more about your work at the Regional Commission in a minute. But first, for our listeners, we want to hear more about where you've landed. Northwest Arkansas has developed a brand as a tourism destination for cycling and outdoor enthusiasts. You mentioned some of the outdoor activities you're enjoying with your family this summer. So tell us a little bit more about the region for those who may not have visited yet.
Yes. So the state nickname for Arkansas is the Natural State. It's a beautiful landscape here. We've got rivers, trails, lakes. If you like getting out on a boat, there is opportunity for you here. If you're into mountain biking, which can be more extreme. That's not really my speed, but there are a lot of trails designed and built specifically for mountain biking. Northwest Arkansas is home to the Razorback Greenway, which is a 12-foot wide shared use paved trail that connects 7 of our cities between each other. It's a incredible asset for us. It's also kind of an identity for the region. There's not one central core city here. We call ourselves polycentric. So there's not one main central city. There's a lot of cities that are all kind of about the same size. Um, Northwest Arkansas is a high growth area, 600,000 people. Each decade over the last 3 decades, we've added 100,000 people. So, you know, this creates a lot of challenges. There is economic opportunity here. We have 3 big Fortune 500 companies: Walmart, Corporate Home Office, JB Hunt, Tyson. And between those 3 and the University of Arkansas, there is opportunity here for folks to come get an education, to come find work. We've got a strong poultry agricultural uh, economy here, so lots of opportunity. The climate here, great. Really, it's Northwest Arkansas. Love living here.
Yeah. So the Planning Commission is also the Regional Council of Governments. Can you tell us more about what that means, how the Planning Commission's supporting cities and counties in your region, and maybe tell us one project that you're working on that's got you particularly energized right now?
Yeah. So, like I said, the challenge that Northwest Arkansas faces it's all around population growth. So for the Planning Commission, that's how will people move around? How are they going to get to work, get to school, see their friends? Um, we're planning the region's transportation network with all of our different cities. We are a regional economy. The roads don't stop at the municipal boundary. Um, we've just finished up our long range transportation plan. It's called Forward 2050, where we're looking out onto the horizon of what does our transportation network need to look like with 1 million people by 2050. Yes,
Mhm.
1 million people. That's what the population projections are showing. That's what we're planning for. Our agency is a transportation management area, which basically what that means is we get sub-allocated federal transportation dollars that our board, which is the mayors of the region, they get to decide which projects to allocate this funding towards. So our plan informs that and helps us to prioritize what transportation projects receive funding. So yes, I'm excited about Forward 2050. This was a plan that was all done in-house. We worked closely with our member cities, with RDOT, with our local transit providers. Included a lot of public engagement. So think surveys, focus groups, public open house events. And in the plan, there's just several recommendations that are new for our region, with the core premise around we can't continue to operate the same way moving forward as we have for the last 30 years in advancing transportation infrastructure. If we want to see our transportation network maintain its existing level of service. So now that we have this Forward 2050 plan adopted, I'm really excited about advancing and pursuing some of these new recommendations around infrastructure delivery, which the region's gonna decide together how we're gonna move forward on some of this.
Yeah. Great. I really appreciate you giving that background of your organization and what you're working on and the complexities of dealing with rapid growth in your region. And now we're going to pivot and talk a little bit about this idea that we teased in the opener. Your home base there in Springdale is in Washington County, Arkansas, which of course was named after George Washington, notable founding father and the nation's first president. Um, Tim, tell us how that sparked an idea for you earlier this year.
Yeah, George Washington, I find to be such an inspirational figure. I like that my home county is named Washington County. All right, that's the stage is set there. Okay, so in last year, 2025, took my family on a road trip to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. As we were traveling out there to see friends, as we were traveling out there, taking I-40, we got just to the east of Knoxville, and I-40 was closed just because of a landslide. So we got rerouted. Got rerouted through Washington County, Tennessee. And when we got to Washington County, Tennessee, I made a big point to my wife and kids that we were in Washington County, Tennessee. And they all, oh yeah, Dad, that's
They were
great.
they were thrilled. They were excited. They were
They
like,
just
"Thanks for
couldn't.
telling us, Dad."
They couldn't handle it. All the
Yeah,
excitement.
right.
Yeah, you get
Okay.
it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Go on.
Okay. Yes. And so, all right, that's noted. And then we passed through Washington County, North Carolina, which is on the east side of the state, near our destination. And then, it's like, wait a minute, how many of these Washington counties are there? Became a point of curiosity for me at that time. Got out to our destination, started celebrating the 4th with our friends out on the beach, shooting fireworks. And the topic came up that, hey, next year is the 250th. We really need to do something big. We need to celebrate. Well, I had mentioned that I had went through a bunch of Washington counties on my trip out, and it's like, well, wouldn't it be great if all the Washington counties were to celebrate together and do something? And so then, looked it up. How many of them are there? There's 30 Washington counties and one Washington parish. Thank you, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well, they need to do something. Something needs to happen here. And okay, let's think about how this could work. Nothing like this had ever been done that we could find out. And so that's it. The idea, it cooks a little bit. And I get back to Arkansas, and it stays with me. Some of these ideas that you get, it's just you're in the car for 20 hours and you have a lot of time to think. Was this one of those ideas, or was there something to this? And it just stayed with me, and I wanted to try it. I wanted to try to do it. So the idea was simmering there.
Mm-hmm. It's really
And I
fascinating because, like you, I have a lot of ideas and I don't act on a lot of my ideas, especially ones that are complicated. But you did. Tell us what happened next.
so I started to reach out one by one. This is looking up contacts at city halls, at county courthouses, at tourism bureaus, at historical societies, and make a pitch to say the 250th is next year. I live in Washington County, so do you guys. Let's do something unique. Let's do something that has never been done. What do you say? Let's get together on a call and talk about it. And so my initial goal was to get, 7 or 8 on a call, to talk through it, to vet it a little bit, to see if there was something that could that could go on. I was able to get I'll say a small group. I had 7 of them, and we hopped on a Zoom call. It was really, it was kind of funny. Um, People were going around doing introductions, and they would say, "Hey, I'm so and so from Washington County." It's like, "Yeah, we know. What state are you from?" It's like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." So it was fun. They liked just being on the call with each other. We shared, uh, traditions that their communities had around the Fourth of July, what special events they were planning for the 250th specifically, and then it transitioned into, okay, what can we do together? There was different ideas thrown out of varying levels of feasibility, but somebody mentioned a shared art project, and that seemed to be the path to go.
Mhm.
So we did that, and on the idea of a quilt, somebody brought up the idea of a quilt, and that resonated with folks because on a quilt you have different squares, and each county would be able to own one of the squares, put on there what they wanted to represent, uh, put on there what they wanted to share with the other counties, what they wanted to communicate about their place. And so that really resonated with folks on the call. And was once you have the idea about what you want to do, it really became easier to then bring other people along around. Here's our plan. Here's what we want to do. Here's the vision.
Yeah, so after that initial Zoom call, you land on the idea of a quilt. How did you get the other counties to get involved?
So called them up, started emailing them uh, a summary of all the counties that were on board,
Hmm.
and it's a momentum thing. You have 7 or 8 over here that want to do it, then you can share the vision. You can get their wheels turning about, oh, what would we put on our square? Who do I know that could do this project? What else could we do with a quilt? So it became a snowball effect,
Yeah, got some
and
momentum.
we got some momentum going for sure, and we kept meeting. So there would be a monthly call where there would be updates, and people would bring other people on the call with them. We had members of quilting guilds on the call that were talking about how their guild was trying to decide what was going to be on their design. It was apparent after a couple of calls that people were excited, and they were bought in, and they were in it,
Yeah,
which really is so exciting. I mean, because you don't know how this is going to be received on this, these first tries, these first conversations around it.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about like spoiler alert for our audience. Like there is a quilt. You have made a quilt. So tell us more about the quilt and the significance of each square. Maybe give us a few examples of what's represented.
So on the quilt, I had mentioned there was 30 counties in one parish. We had our quilt is 29 Washington squares. So we had 29 participate. The quilt is 96 inches wide, 112 inches tall. This is a huge quilt. It's massive. Each quilt square is one square foot. So each of the squares represents something meaningful about that county. They were given pretty wide latitude on what they could put on it. So, for example, Washington County, Maine. It's the most eastern county of the United States.
Oh.
Their nickname is Sunrise County, and they put that on their quilt square. They've got a beautiful image of the sun coming up over the horizon. They've got the lighthouse. They've got a lobster on it. They have a. They're known for a blueberry festival, so they've got that represented. Um, they really tried to capture, um, meaningful images on their square. Some counties they put something about their geography. So Washington Parish in Louisiana, they're the toe of the boot.
Mm.
So if you think about Louisiana, where would the toe be? Well, that's highlighted on this quilt square because that's where Washington Parish is. Really clever, really fun. You can learn something about these places and what matters to folks. I thought it was curious. Washington County, Texas. That's where Texas declared that they were their own state. So they call themselves the birthplace of Texas. That's represented on their square. Some of them really went and had a lot of fun with it. Washington County, Wisconsin. Um, they couldn't really think of something specific to Washington County, but they put George Washington in a cheese head
Oh, I
because they're
love
in
it.
Wisconsin.
Of course, it's great.
Uh, Washington County, Ohio. They're on the Ohio River and they have this thing called a Sternboat Festival. They put that on their square. Um, it is so fun to see what all these places did, what they wanted to share.
Hmm. Um, I, I so many questions. First of all, I'm just going to say 29 out of 30 counties and parishes participated. That's like a 97%. Very solid A. Good work, Tim. It begs the question who did not, and I'm not going to ask you to answer that. We're not going to like throw shade at somebody here on the podcast, but I will say for our listeners, it was one of the more remote and rural communities, so you weren't able to make the connection with them, but it wasn't as if somebody just like flipped you the bird on this project or anything.
That's
Um,
correct.
so I want you to tell us like taking the idea is cool, but going from the idea of let's make a quilt to getting 30 counties to send in squares and get them assembled, like I'm guessing you didn't know a lot about quilting when this project started, so how did you move this idea from dream to reality?
Oh, I knew nothing about quilting when I started working on this collaboration. After the group decided that a quilt was what we wanted to do for the expression here, um, I started to ask around. Who knows a quilter? I had a coworker put me in touch with a well-connected local quilter who knew many different guilds in the area. And boy, I tell you, without that connection, and without this, her name's Lori. Shout out to Lori here in Arkansas. Uh, Without that connection, it would have been a very heavy lift. She knew what kind of instructions that needed to be communicated about what needs to be put on the square. What's the size need to be? I didn't know any of these quilting terms, so they helped me draft instructions that were to be disseminated to everybody, so that we would have some uniformity in what we got. Outside of be creative on what you put on there for the design, but there are certain things that they all needed to do, and getting that put together, absolutely critical. I would have had no idea what I was doing there. And then once you get these individual squares, you've got to actually assemble the quilt. And that is a huge project. If I would have known how involved it was, would I have gotten scared away? Maybe so. But these quilters, they really love their craft and they love to share it. That's something I have learned through this is that that group really is amazing and loves sharing their work. But the group helped me come up with an assembly plan. That was a question that came up as I was meeting over the months with the different counties. Is what's the assembly plan? How is it going to be put together? And so the local people here helped me come up with a plan. We actually had a little public event for it, an assembly event to celebrate the project. We had a space here that donated some of their rooms for us to set up some sewing machines. We set up some boards with descriptions of all the quilt squares and what they mean. We had local press show up so that we can talk about it here locally, share it with residents, friends. Really, it was a fun event. And so getting it assembled was fun. Was a challenge, but it was
Mhm.
fun. Couldn't have done it without the local quilters here buying in, sharing the vision, being excited about it, about celebrating America.
Yeah, that's very cool. Tim, when we prepared for this episode, you told me that this project lives at the confluence of history, culture, and art. What does that mean to you?
So history, it's America's 250th anniversary. George Washington, founder of our nation, he held the 13 colonies together at a time of great challenge and upheaval. Our counties are named after him. That's a big deal. He's a big deal. Without him, where would America be now? That's what I mean by history. When I say
Mhm.
culture, boy, each individual square it represents great meaning to these communities. I talked about some of them, but there's courthouses on here. There's festivals. There's things that really matter to these communities and that they want to share with the country.
Mhm.
So each individual square uh, has meaning to it. And when we talk about art, quilting as a craft, you get to combine design, texture, creativity. A good quilt tells a story. A great piece of art really makes you feel something.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of people, after the quilt's been done, walk up to it, look at it, and there's a lot of smiling that's going on. There's a lot of pointing. There's commenting. Um, when they get an idea of what they're looking at, it sparks something, and that's been a lot of fun to see. And so, this quilt, this collaboration is unique. It is a piece of contemporary history. Um, Now that it has been assembled, it's going to, or it is traveling around the country. So counties have been able to sign up to host it. We've had it. We've had it in Tennessee, Idaho, Colorado, Virginia. It's gonna make its way all over. They're having parties for it. They're showcasing it at festivals. It really is at the confluence of all these three things, and I'm just super proud of it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Tell us more about this roadshow and how our audience can learn more or find out when the quilt will be in a Washington County in their area.
So we have a website, washingtonsunite.com. I'm going to say that again. We have a website, washingtonsunite.com, and under the events page, you can see its schedule. That's going to get updated with more details as that times approach for the different places. We also have a Instagram page at Washington's Unite to follow along its journey.
Yeah, it's great. Well, Tim, as you were telling your story, I mean, I was thinking about all sorts of applications to our day jobs in local government. What has this experience taught you about project management? Like any advice that you have for others who are trying to implement a totally new idea in their organizations?
Well, I tell you, at the beginning, it was a lot of persistence in following up with people, but it was also vetting this idea. I mean, I was talking to people around me, friends. Hey, is this a good idea? Should I even pursue this? What do you think? Why should I not do this project? And really, the what I got was, well, it'll be a lot of work. It'll be a lot of work. It's like, well, that's I can do work. I don't mind the work. And I didn't have really anybody tell me no. And so I continued to persist and pursue, uh, pursue leads and participation. I was the project cheerleader. Really, I was the one saying, let's do it. I needed a lot of buy-in from a lot of people. Thinking back, between 29 counties, multiple people in each county had a hand in crafting the square, and many people here had a hand in assembling the quilt. And I was trying to come up with a number of how many people worked on this project. It's for sure over 100, probably maybe up to 200. But it was creating the vision, getting the buy-in, and then letting go and letting people take ownership of what they could deliver. This is an all volunteer situation. And so you can only ask people to do what they're willing to do.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's pretty incredible though. Like it is a testament to how the coupling of a vision and a little bit of leadership and some teamwork, we can really get incredible things done. I think it's like a great local government story.
it is a great story. Um, we did have some local governments pass acknowledging resolutions for the effort. I think we have 10 or so resolutions from cities and counties. We've got maybe 10 or 15 news stories from local newspapers that reported on it, where they're quoting their local quilter. They're quoting, their town leaders about the name Washington County and the 250th. So there is ownership and there is excitement about it, really, uh, all over the country.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks for sharing this story with us, Tim. It's a lot of fun. I hope people will jump on your website and visit this when it's in their neighborhood. It's going to be in my neighborhood in Washington County, Minnesota, here later this year. I plan to visit, um, and I hope others will do the same. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before we wrap up?
I talked about, working in the office, and that my hot take was, working in the office is better than working from home. For this project, I had all of the squares delivered to my work because they would be safer from the dog, right?
Of
Um,
course.
but but there was really a lot of fun getting to share the squares arriving with all the coworkers here. So it became a a group activity. Oh, which one came in today? So
Mhm.
that brought us together. This project is about bringing people together to either come up with the design of their square, to celebrate the squares arriving, which was in my case, and then in going forward, it's going to be bringing people together to observe and see the quilt. And so, America 250, bringing the country together. That's what this project is all about.
That's awesome. I really appreciate you telling this story, and it's really fun. And I hope it's an inspiration to our listeners that don't discard all of your wild ideas. Some of them might be worthy of execution. So if one kind of nags at you for a while, run with it. All right, Tim. Well, thank you so much for joining the GovLove podcast. I have one final question for you. If you could be the GovLove DJ, what song would you pick as our exit music for this episode?
I really love the play Les Mis.
Oh
This
yes,
is
we're
a
bringing it full circle.
this is a government podcast. We live in a democracy. America 250. Let's combine it all. My choice is from Les Mis. Do you hear the people sing?
That ends our episode for today. Thanks so much to our guest, Tim Reavis from Northwest Arkansas. Thank you for listening. You can reach us at elgo.org/govlove or on social media at GovLove Podcast. This has been GovLove, a podcast about local government.
Of your heart echoes the beating of the drums. There is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see? Then join in the fight that will give you the right to be free. Do you hear